Already taking heat for its Benghazi response and the IRS targeting of conservatives, the Obama administration today faced growing outrage for collecting the phone records of AP journalists. Then, the Attorney General Eric Holder dropped a bombshell, saying the subpoenas were in response to an extraordinary leak that posed a great threat, he said, to the American people. Let's go straight to our crime and justice correspondent, Joe Johns. He has the latest. Joe?
Wolf, the Justice Department's sweeping subpoena of media telephone records was just highly unusual, especially in a town like Washington, D.C., where, you know, the exchange of sensitive information is purely part of the fabric. But the Attorney General made the case today that the leak of sensitive information that started this investigation was extraordinary in and of itself. The top law enforcement officer in the country says a leak of sensitive information was so serious that the Justice Department was justified in issuing a sweeping subpoena for telephone records from reporters and an editor of the Associated Press over a 2-month period last year.
I have to say that this is among, if not the most serious, it is within the top 2 or 3. It put the American people at risk, and that is not hyperbole. It put the American people at risk. And trying to determine who was responsible for that, I think, required very aggressive action.
But Holder said he removed himself from supervision, leaving it to a deputy to sign off on the controversial record hunt.
I'd been interviewed by the FBI in connection with this matter, and to avoid a potential, the appearance of a potential conflict of interest, and to make sure that the investigation was seen as independent, I recused myself from this matter.
The government is trying to find out who leaked to the Associated Press about a mole in Yemen's al-Qaeda affiliate helping Western spy agencies, a mole who helped foil a plot to bomb airliners. It was such specific information, there were concerns it had damaged foreign intelligence sources and an ongoing operation. Republicans wondered out loud whether the White House leaked it. In a letter to the Associated Press, Deputy Attorney General James Cole did not confirm that the investigation was related to the thwarted bomb investigation, but did say the investigation was opened in May of last year, and that such disclosures can risk lives and cause grave harm to security of all Americans. The letter said that the department undertook a comprehensive investigation, conducting over 550 interviews and reviewing tens of thousands of documents before going after the Associated Press phone records. On top of all that, in that heated news conference at the Justice Department today, Holder announced a federal investigation into alleged IRS targeting of conservative groups seeking tax-exempt status. The smell of scandal has given this administration suddenly the appearance of having been thrown off balance. Wolf?
Joe, what a story. Thanks very much. Even as he was forced to explain the AP subpoenas, the Attorney General today ordered an investigation, a separate one, of the IRS targeting of conservative groups who sought tax-exempt status. Lawmakers on both sides are furious over that scandal. A major hearing is scheduled for Friday. Reporters tried to get a jump today, questioning the acting IRS commissioner up on Capitol Hill. Watch this.
Hi, Mr. Miller. Can you tell us why you never told Congress that you had...
Today, but thank you, guys. I'll be here on...
Baucus asked you to resign.
I'll be here on Friday.
Sir, Senator Hatch says that you purposely misled him by not informing him about this. Why is that? Is that
He's not going to be able to do an interview now. Commissioner Miller, why didn't you tell the truth when you were asked directly by Congress?
We'll talk on Friday, guys.
Let's bring in our chief political analyst, Gloria Borger. Gloria, what do all these controversies, the IRS, the Benghazi, the AP investigation, now what do they do, at least in the short term, to the president's second-term agenda?
I spoke with a senior administration official today who said, you know, things are still on track as long as John McCain and Lindsey Graham don't turn against us on immigration reform. That's moving along in committee. But that's their spin, Wolf, and they're obviously sticking to it. I mean, here's the reality check to this, is that these issues taken together have become an all-consuming political sinkhole for them, and they know that. And the one valuable commodity at the White House is the time and the energy of the president's top advisors. And this just has sucked up all of their time. And so they understand that nothing can really break through until they get most of these things out of the front page headlines. Now, this same senior administration official said to me today that they believe that the IRS issue is one that they will be able to dispose of pretty quickly. There are going to be congressional hearings. But I was told that the president, quote, intends to deal with the IRS in a quick and meaningful way. We don't know what that means. Does that mean, and this person would not specify, that heads will roll? As you know, most of the IRS is civil servants, except for the couple of top positions. So we'll have to see what is meaningful as far as the White House is concerned once we get that report on what really occurred.
Well, and we're beginning to see all of this begin to have another effect, not a good one, on the people's faith in government.
Well, and that's really the big issue here, Wolf, because as you know, people don't trust the government these days to take out their garbage, but this is probably going to make it even worse. We went together and put together some numbers about trust in government and how it's been eroded over the years. You see, back in the time after JFK was assassinated, trust in government was at 77%. Even during Watergate, Wolf, 36%. People didn't trust the government then. Post 9/11, people saw the first responders and they began to realize, wait a minute, those people are employed by government. Healthcare, look at that, 18%, and now it's still at a very low level. If I had to wager, I would say to you that trust in government is going to continue to go down, particularly because of this IRS controversy. I mean, when people see that groups were targeted unfairly by the government bureaucrats, it doesn't make you feel any better about your government.
How worried should Republicans be that they might overplay their hand?
Well, they're not worried at all that they're going to overplay their hand. I mean, you've got more than a half dozen congressional committees here, but you know, the pendulum tends to swing. Republicans believe that the public will be on their side, but they're going to have to make a decision here, which is, do they allow this to affect what they do on the second term agenda? Do they just go use these issues, smaller government, for a big win in the midterm elections, which is, after all, what they're going after? Or do they work with the president, as the White House thinks they will, on something like immigration reform, because they also believe that's in their self-interest? So do they, in effect, compartmentalize one issue from another? We don't know the answer to that.
Now that there's a Justice Department investigation, potentially a criminal investigation into the IRS issue, it starts relatively tame, but you don't know where those investigations wind up.
That's right. And don't forget, Wolf, though, it was Republicans who said to this White House, you know what, there are too many leaks coming out of the White House, and you guys better look into those leaks. So the Justice Department looked into those leaks. Whether they've done it badly or not is another issue, but the Justice Department's looked into those leaks, and now Republicans are investigating the Justice Department.
A whole bunch of officials are going to be hiring lawyers pretty soon because they're going to be questioned by the FBI and other U.S. law enforcement officials.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for that.